You forget. I saw plenty of action with the Avengers.
And you died.
Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie. Tonight's a big night of TV. We have Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Supernatural is back. This is my Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. video, and as predicted, we got to see our first supervillain, or at least we get to see someone become our first supervillain on the show. So the episode was really like a science-based techie episode, and the big runner, the red herring, was the Gravitonium, the element they used in this device that would kind of allow them to exploit more resources from the Earth. But Dr. Franklin Hall, who was the asset, as the title of the episode implies, basically wanted to stop this. It was a bit misleading throughout the episode, just because you kind of thought that he had switched over and become a bad person. But like a lot of people in the comic book world, when someone really has this crazy idea and thinks they're doing the right thing, they usually end up becoming a villain. And at the end of this episode, Dr. Franklin Hall basically becomes Graviton. So there's a couple important things to talk about in this episode. One is the tech, like the big Marvel aspects of it that they included in the story, the comic book aspects, like the Gravitonium, Dr. Franklin Hall, and Graviton, the important continuing plot lines, and some of the ships that are going on. So let's talk about the text, because it has a lot to do with the way they use people in this episode. So obviously, Chloe Bennett's character, Skye, got most of the scenes. They're kind of using her as like the fish out of water character, so naturally I'm not surprised they used her a lot. But I really feel like her character is just an analog for the Emily Thorne character on Revenge. So whenever you see Skye's character, think of Emily Van Camp in the Marvel Universe. Oh wait, they're doing that already. It's called Captain America the Winter Soldier. Speaking of tech, let's talk about the actual device. So I really like science-based episodes just because I'm a big science nerd. If you ever watched Stargate Atlantis, I really like the episodes that Rodney McKay and the science teams had. They just dealt with really, really big scientific problems, and usually the solutions involved this really complex math problem. That was not the case in this episode, and I feel like Marvel is just kind of trying to dumb things down a little bit, so I didn't really appreciate that as much, but I don't blame them, and they are trying to play it safe. This is only the third episode, but I'm really looking forward to some future episode where they really delve deep into like some huge math problem and just visualize it in some really awesome way. And what about the ships? So obviously there are a couple running ships. I know a lot of people are shipping May and Coulson. They have more of a mature relationship, and I really do feel like May is totally in on whatever happened to Coulson. I feel like she knows. And there was that moment at the end where Coulson was talking about muscle memory, and he said, I don't know why I'm not remembering this because I've done it so many times. I feel like that's just a life model decoy argument, but I'll talk about that later. Skye and Ward obviously are the most obvious ship on the show. I'm calling them Sword right now. I really feel like the Rising Tide stuff is going to come and bite that in the ass, and there's going to be some huge betrayal at some point in the season. It just hasn't happened yet. I was really expecting the Rising Tide stuff to bite her in the ass in this episode, but they ended up using it as a central plot point, so that might happen again later in the season. So it'll be interesting to see how the Rising Tide kind of affects all the relationships on the show. I really do feel like the Skye sexy time moments were a little bit funny, especially when she was trying to trick the villain into giving her information. So I give her a high five for that. High five to the new girl. So obviously we have the biggest moment of the episode. Let me know what you thought about that end teaser, the actual Graviton transformation. They have great special effects on this show, as opposed to, say, like Sleepy Hollow last night, which did this Gateway to Hell storyline, and the special effects just look terrible. Let me know what you think, though. What do you think of the special effects on S.H.I.E.L.D., and what did you think of that Graviton transformation? But now let's talk a little bit about magic, life model decoys, and clones. So obviously that end beat with Coulson really kind of teased up the idea that his body is not the same body. So that's either clone or life model decoy. And obviously there's the magical Tahiti storyline too. I really feel like Tahiti is just an actual magical place, like Doctor Strange magic. So I'll talk more about magic in a future episode. Be sure to subscribe to get it. Don't forget, Arrow Season 2, as I mentioned earlier, is coming back tomorrow. I'll be doing a video for that too. Also, if you don't follow me on Tumblr or you didn't see my Sleepy Hollow video, Supernatural Season 9 is back tonight too. I did a video for that. You can click here to watch it. You can also click here to watch all my other Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. videos. So remember, Arrow Season 2 back tomorrow, and American Horror Story Coven. I'll be doing videos for both of those things. Be sure to subscribe to get them. Thanks so much for watching. High fives.